The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. A 5-year-old little girl is no longer here with us because of the evil acts of her own mother. Melissa Towne, she admitted to killing her daughter. She's behind bars tonight with bond now set at $15 million. And her attorney is asking a mental health expert to evaluate her. This is after she said she killed her child because that child was evil. How often does this happen to parents with mental health issues? Dr. Asim Shah and Towne are here now to discuss how a mother's untreated mental health issues can harm a child. Glad to have you both here on The Factor Uncensored. First, Dr. Shah, what would you call this? We all remember, and Child, you're a former reporter, you remember this as well, Andrea Yates. She had postpartum depression, and she drowned and killed 5 of her children because of her mental illness. It went unchecked. So when we talk about an individual who says, my child, and they may believe it or not, I don't know if this is her criminal defense, but she may believe that her child is evil, and she kills that child. What is that, Dr. Shah?
That is usually psychosis, that is usually postpartum depression, that is usually bipolar psychosis or postpartum psychosis. This is something which is relatively common. 5 to 10% of the women may suffer that after postpartum psychosis or depression, and this goes unchecked like you mentioned. That is the reason when somebody comes to us with postpartum depression, we take it very seriously, and that is the reason we have to treat it. You mentioned yourself that this goes unchecked. Why? Because people stop medication or people get untreated. People are treated but not adequately treated. That is the reason they need to get treatment. They need to get treatment for their psychosis or psychotic element. It has to be treated. It has to be checked.
Now, Child, you were a reporter back then with Andrea Yates, covering as a journalist, but now you're a trauma therapist. When you see someone who says, I killed my child, I ended their life because they were evil, from your perspective, where did we as a community fail this person if this is the case?
This system failed this child, it failed the mother. We have to raise the conversation about mental illness. In this case, the doctor's right. These are apparent signs of psychosis. And did you know that a predictor for psychosis is single parenthood? There are stressors to consider. We don't know about this woman. We know she's a single mother. We've heard reports that she's been institutionalized multiple times. Where are the systems there to address mental health? And then in Texas, we are in the bottom of the ladder when it comes to mental health access and resources. 49th, in the bottom of the ladder. We've got to do something more to address these issues instead of seeing this time after again, these tragedies, this heartbreaking details of a child dying. I mean, no mother is going to put her child in a body bag and bring her to the hospital. That is not reasonable. It's not sane. Whatever the legal outcome is, we've got to raise these conversations and take it seriously, just like we did when Andrea Yates drowned her 5 kids. And we granted her leniency. She still stays in a psychiatric hospital willingly, time after again, when she's up for parole.
And Dr. Shah, when we talk about a situation like this and the criminal defense, do you think likely the courts, that being the judge, if there's only a judge, or the jury, will buy this? Do they take this seriously? Do we take this seriously as a society when it comes to mental illness?
So the sad part is we take this seriously after the fact. We don't take this seriously before the fact. We miss the warning signs. In this case, we missed every single warning sign. We missed the warning signs before the fact for every single case, whether it is a terroristic thing, whether it is a suicide thing, whether it is any gun violence. We miss all the warning signs. Why do we miss the warning signs? Why do we want to talk about this after the fact? We are talking about it today after the fact. We miss every single warning signs. I think the goal should be to miss the preemptive signs. And that's what we need to do. We don't need to talk about it after the damage has been done. And that's what we do all the time.
And so what are some of the warning signs to both of you, and you can hop in, if a mother, even a father, but more than likely the mother who has the responsibility typically of society to take care of that child. What are some of the warning signs as family members, as friends, as society we should be looking for?
We should not villainize this woman. There were reports that neighbors said she was talking to the mailbox, she was banging her car. Those are big predictors that something's wrong with this woman.
For anybody,
Who
not
needs
even
help?
her.
Yes.
Exactly, for anybody. Somebody who's talking to themselves, somebody who is unable to take care of themselves, somebody who is, like in this scenario or any other scenario, hitting their own car or violence towards any inanimate object or so.
And many times as a society, we laugh at those things.
Exactly, but
and-
rather than
and
laughing,
blow
we need
it
to
off.
get them help.
Right.
Why are we not doing that? We need to get them help at that particular moment as opposed to wait. No, that's not acceptable at all.
And this woman had a CPS history. Where are the institutions there to protect children at these times? We don't know the outcome of this case yet, but a CPS history, a history of mental illness. What was the mother doing with this child? Why did she have custody? There are so many questions, but it all points to a system that time and again fails children, fails mothers, and fails families.
Just a horrible situation. And obviously, the child paid the cost, and the mother will likely end up either institutionalized or in prison for this, but we'll just have to see.
I think both pay the cost. The mother also
Absolutely.
pay the cost because she
Absolutely.
was not treated.
And the trauma that is really now on the entire community, the families of the victim, the father, the mother even, and all who knew her, the first responders. Entire communities are affected when we see tragedies like this, Isaiah.
All right, Towne, Dr. Asim Shah, thank you all for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored Live tonight.